What's up, guys? Welcome back to Rosie Wrestling. My name is Safe.
And I'm Massa.
And we're here with another edition of Views from Rosie, and we're going to be talking about Smackdown. We have 3 talking points today as we review Smackdown, and we're going to go right into the review. We're first going to talk about the WWE World Heavyweight Championship title scene. So the show started off with a promo. Renee Young was interviewing AJ Styles. And he was just kind of talking about how at Fastlane, anything can happen. He could easily lose a title without being pinned. Baron Corbin came out, started talking trash. Let's not forget, Baron Corbin actually beat AJ Styles clean a few months ago. And Kevin Owens came out, more trash talking. Shane McMahon came out, and 2 matches were set. AJ Styles versus Baron Corbin for the main event, or in the main event. And then Dolph Ziggler against Kevin Owens, which went right ahead right after this. And it was Owens versus Ziggler. What did you think of this match? And what do you think of Kevin Owens getting the victory here with help from Sami Zayn?
See, this match was okay. Like, it was pretty good. I didn't think it was bad. I didn't think it was great. Like, it was just kind of, whatever. But I think that, I think this was important. I like them building up to the pay-per-view. I like having a lot of build. But, it was kind of confusing. Sami Zayn is his friend. Or, they're always friends. But he caused a distraction. And, later we see in the promo, it's just kind of weird. Were you confused at all by this?
By what?
By, Sami Zayn coming out. And, at first it was just him alone. He's kind of trash-talking Zayn. Not really, but,
No, I wasn't surprised at all. And the promo, I thought, was probably the most interesting sub-storyline of this whole thing. Because, Kevin and Sami, they've had problems. But Sami, in a kayfabe sense, he's talking truth. He said that ever since he's aligned himself with Kevin Owens, he's been in the main event scene, and now he's main eventing pay-per-views, main eventing Smackdowns. And then he said he's going to lay down for Kevin if the opportunity comes at Fastlane. And Kevin was kind of confused by all of this. I just think they're definitely going to build up to a match between these two at Mania because that's the only thing I really see out of this. Because I think AJ is going to retain, and Sami and Kevin will... I actually don't know what's going to happen at Fastlane between these two. And then, obviously, the last thing is the main event between Baron and AJ. And this was, I thought, a good match. It took 2 phenomenal forearms to beat Corbin. And we saw Sami and Kevin come out, because I definitely thought it would have been a lackluster ending to the show if it was just AJ winning and then that's it. Everyone have a good night. No, Sami and Kevin came out, started beating them down. And then... actually, Baron was the last one standing.
Yeah, he was the one who came out victorious in all of this. But the thing is, what I don't understand is Baron Corbin's sporadic pushes. He gets pushed and then he feels like he gets buried again. It's kind of, they're not consistent. So I kind of want to see, if you're going to get pushed, be consistent with him. He's now in the title scene, but I just don't want to see him, in the title scene and then go all the way down to... not even being included on Smackdown. Okay,
so our next talking point is the United States Championship scene, which we had Jinder come out and just kind of talk about Bobby Roode and Randy Orton, and they're going to feud basically over a top 10 list, which is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, you have the United States Championship, you can feud over that, but why feud over a list?
I think that... is that the reason why they have the list? Is that the only reason? I think it's just a waste of time and a waste of just space.
And why does Jinder care so much about Randy Orton? He keeps saying, Bobby Roode, do you think you're better than Randy Orton? Do you think that you're the new legend killer? Are you scared of Randy Orton? Why does he care so much?
They already had a feud. We're done with that. But, now we're trying to focus on Jinder and Bobby. But now Randy Orton just keeps getting thrown in. And we actually... know that now at Fastlane it's going to be Randy Orton and Bobby Roode.
That was after obviously Orton got a glorious DDT, but then Jinder for the second week in a row is the last one standing after he did a Colossus on Bobby Roode, but he wasn't inserted in the match. It's not going to be a triple threat match. It doesn't make sense.
I think this would change later on. I actually think that because as you said before, we want to see Orton Roode at Mania, but if it's a triple threat match at Fastlane, I would be totally okay with that. They all seem like that they don't have anything to do. And this, again, makes the U.S. Championship seem a little bit more prestigious because again, Randy Orton is a legend. He is now, future Hall of Famer, of course. But, this kind of gives it, like, a little bit more prestige. So, next talking point we have is the tag team scene. And we had a match between the New Day and Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin. Whoever wins gets to go against the Usos at Fastlane. What did you think about this match, and what did you think of the Usos not even being on SmackDown this week?
I don't really mind the Usos not being on SmackDown. Again, if you have nothing to do, it's okay if you're left off SmackDown sometimes. Because obviously the last 2 weeks it's just been promos from the Usos. So no complaints there, but Xavier Woods ends up winning, ends up getting the pinfall after a Shining Wizard on Shelton Benjamin. And honestly, I really did not like this. The match wasn't great, and also the result I'm not too happy with. We've seen the Usos in the New Day so many times.
They did put on great matches, but it's gonna be beaten to death.
It was a fantastic feud, but the last thing we saw from them was the Hell in a Cell match, which I appreciate a lot, but in a few years we're going to look at it as an all-time great match because did so much for the tag division. It's going to be equivalent basically to like TLC 2 from WrestleMania 17.
I just don't want it to be watered by whatever is next.
Exactly. So I think that it's a poor decision to put the Usos and New Day against each other again at Fastlane.
But I actually don't think that that's going to be the case because the Bludgeon Brothers actually did kind of interrupt. They did have a match with, some enhancement talent. But I think that, this is just for now, and they're probably going to announce the Bludgeon Brothers and Usos, or I don't really know.
They're going to be added to the match. There's no way the New Day are just going to be thrown around.
Left off.
But, like, the thing about this is, where is Rusev? This is the second week in a row he's not on SmackDown. He's extremely over. He has one of the highest selling shirts on WWE Shop. And it just looks like they're going to sabotage him because he's not because of the WWE.
Yeah, I really don't like that. They do that with a lot of people, and it really gets me upset. I read this thing about Ty Dillinger being left off SmackDown because, everyone loves the 10 chants. Like, it's not fair. You can't have you can't just sabotage your talent because they're over. That makes absolutely no sense. And, we all enjoy Rusev, and he's one of the highlights of SmackDown. You take out him, you're taking out SmackDown. But
I think the best thing to do here is really, after WrestleMania, is to take the Usos, put them on Raw. Just give them a fresh list of opponents to face, because they really faced everyone on SmackDown.
But don't you think that, because I always think that SmackDown is kind of lacking star power. Do you think that's taking a little bit too much of the star power away from SmackDown?
I think you can easily replace that star power with NXT guys. You could bring in Sanity, you can bring in Authors of Pain, these teams that have been in NXT for a while, bring them up to SmackDown and it will feel just as fresh. So the Usos on Raw, they have so many opponents there that they could have matches with, which would, we've already seen them in the bar at Survivor Series, which was a great match. So we could see a program between them or something like that. But altogether, what did you think of this SmackDown?
I personally thought this was a pretty lackluster SmackDown. I had just a lot of trouble focusing. I couldn't really, it just seemed like some things were just whatever, throwaways. I don't know, like usually SmackDown is a little bit, because it's shorter than Raw, I'm able to keep my attention span, but here it really didn't have me.
Yeah, honestly, this was probably one of the worst SmackDowns I can remember. Everything that happened, I had complaints about. The WWE Championship scene, first of all, it's dumb that it's a Fatal 5-Way, because Baron and Dolph haven't been treated like main eventers. Yeah. And then it didn't really get me excited with the main event. That was just, run-of-the-mill type of main event. The tag team division, I'm not happy with the New Day Usos being the match at Fastlane.
Even, the matches that they're having is not the quality that Raw is. I really hate the whole thing when people say that SmackDown is the B show. I've always hated that. But now it's the B show, it's not nearly as good as Raw, and they're clearly showing it. So.
But yeah, like I was saying also, the US Championship scene, I'm not happy with Bobby Roode and Orton being the match at Fastlane, and the 6-woman tag, which we didn't even talk about today, because I really do not even want to get into that.
We don't.
SmackDown's women's division has been awful for the past few months. So everything that happened on SmackDown, I have complaints with. Tell us what you thought of SmackDown in the comment section below. Was it a good SmackDown? Was it a bad SmackDown? Do you agree with us? Do you disagree with us?
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Roode Wrestling, and we'll see you guys in our next video. Bye!